Hello. When climate activist Greta Thunberg described the environmental meeting COP26 as simply politicians pretending to take our future seriously, she doubtless voiced the frustrations of many at what they see as endless talk when what they want is immediate action. This week, world leaders, business leaders, and others with power and influence are meeting at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The purpose of this is to discuss the global issues priorities for the year ahead. Often, these sorts of meetings will attract the presence of protesters. This perhaps shows that those who want action do not, in reality, underestimate the power and importance of the exchange of views. In recent weeks, union leaders and ministers from a variety of different government departments have met to discuss the issues of pay, conditions, and strikes. At various times, the news has informed us that these discussions have either been fruitful or futile. Our own legislative assembly is called the Parliament, where people parley or talk, apparently endlessly, and often without apparent impact. But rhetoric is not always as empty as it may appear on the surface. In government and parliament, one sees all the time how apparently endless dialogue suddenly emerges into real-world change. During work on legislation leading up to the Good Friday Agreement, representatives from the British and Irish governments and the Northern Irish community spent many days and weeks together so that they could discuss and agree matters between themselves and in turn take away them and discuss with others. Yet out of those seemingly unending talks came change that brought peace to the streets of Northern Ireland and altered the lives of generations. Christianity sees speech as the most precious and dangerous of divine gifts, precisely because of its impact. The Bible symbolically describes the initial act of creation of the world as an act of speech by God. Discussions between God and Abraham and Moses and other prophets frequently have the appearance of negotiation rather than a one-directional set of instructions. In the Bible, speech is mentioned dozens and dozens and dozens of times and is constantly characterized as having the ability to create and destroy worlds. The book of Proverbs in the Old Testament has much to say, including these words: "Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body." In the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians, he says, "Be gracious in your speech." The goal is to bring out the best in others in a conversation, not put them down, not cut them out. Jesus is even more direct. In Matthew's Gospel, he is recorded as saying, "I can guarantee that on Judgment Day, people will have to give an account of every careless word they say." In our modern world, whether locally, nationally, or internationally, nothing can change without agreement. And agreement depends on discussion. But the heart of good discussion is just as much about listening as it is about speaking. So, my prayer for us and for our students, for world leaders, for any who exercise power and influence, is that they might reflect on the fact that we have one mouth but two ears. And maybe that ratio is important. Bless you all.